Hello and good day to all of you, and welcome to our video lesson for English 10. Sorry if I'm late in recording this stuff since I'm so busy. But anyway, let's proceed to our next topic. Let's talk about evaluating and making judgment about a range of texts. You see, in the past few days, in the past few weeks, we are discussing many aspects concerning on how to evaluate literature, how to evaluate linear and nonlinear texts, and you name it. Evaluating texts means exploring how the writer plays with the words to create a lot of connected ideas, knowing the writer's purpose of composing, and tracking to what extent his purpose has been achieved. So it is very important to notice that evaluating a certain text can be a big help for all of us to know what is the purpose of the said writing, how it can connect in real life, and many more. According to Lenz and De Jong, evaluation is a form of reader's feedback to a range of texts was used in this lesson to enhance students' ability to evaluate and to give feedback from the varied texts to be encountered. Also, it will help them to recognize the purpose of the author, identify the hidden meaning of a certain part of the story, distinguish the mood conveyed by the author, and critique the message of the story as a whole that will lead to using their higher order thinking skill. So, a range of texts pertain to the two text types, which are the following. We have literary text types and factual text types. To those who are reading, especially to my students right now, I remember the time that they used three examples of literary pieces. I gave them the stories like Orpheus, The Necklace, and Pandora's Box. Well, they have already done make an acting on that or dramatization concerning to it. So, what are those two text types? Literary text types includes narrative and poetry. So we have two types of literary text types. We have narrative and poetry. Narrative tells stories that imparts lessons, shares beliefs, and explains cultural tradition of a certain community. Narrative text can be fiction or non-fiction. So, we have some examples like short story, novel, diary entries, letters, emails, and so on. So when it comes to narrative, it sounds like you say stories that can give lessons and many more. Also, we have poetry. Poetry is a literature that expresses art. Poems are full of emotions, showed through symbols, imagery, figures of speech, and rhyming sounds that will make your imagination be filled with beauty and creativity. So to those who are writing poems, I guess you know what I mean. There are figures of speech that were used like simile, metaphor, and you name it. So we are done for literary text types. What about the factual text types? It includes non-fiction works. So if we have fiction, there is what we call non-fiction. So what in the world was that for? Non-fiction pertains to discussion texts, explanatory texts, persuasive texts, and procedural texts. These texts can be used in our everyday living for reasoning, justifying, and explaining purposes. Mostly in nonfiction, you are telling any kinds of discussion that you want to present, whether it is an argument, whether it's an argument, an explanation, and others. And to point out this way, here are the definition of terms on evaluating and making judgments about a range of texts. Remember these three: evaluate, purpose of the author, and mood. In evaluate, it is an act of making judgment. Purpose of the author, it refers to the reasons why the author wrote a text. And lastly, we have what was called mood. It is an element found in every text, which mainly pertains to the atmospheres that gives feelings to the readers. It affects the emotional and psychological aspects of the readers that leads them being attached to the text. Remember these three terms on evaluating and making judgments about a range of texts. Remember, if you are reading something, we must have to analyze it, not just scanning or whatsoever, then it's finished. Remember, we must have to evaluate a certain text and think about it. What is the purpose of the author? What will be the result of your evaluation in the said text and others? Well, that's all for our discussion here in this video lesson. And since we are near on the first quarter examination, I think maybe this will be the end of the first quarter discussion. Although this could be episode 6 right now. Episode 6. I can discuss the another one, which is spoken text. But for now, this will be the end of this discussion for the first quarter. The next topic, which is the spoken text, will be an extra one. It's up to us if we can learn it a lot on the next lesson, or you can skip. It's your decision. Anyway, thank you for listening to this video lesson right now, and I'm hoping that you can learn about this. So that's all for now. See you in the next video lesson. Have a great day.